Well, thanks for coming on, bro.
I'm excited to be here.
Yeah, me too.
I watch everybody else come on, and I'm like, where's my invitation?
I know. Where's your invite?
Yeah, where's my invite?
Yeah, well, I had to get a couple in.
A couple practice runs in.
To get to the real deal.
To get the real deal.
Yeah. Dude, it's been a while, bro. I mean, we've been together for like 13 years now that we met.
14, let's say 14. 14 is a better number.
That sounds like.
It sounds like
it. Yeah.
13 is that number. Like.
It's just great. And how we met.
I remember the first meeting, too.
Remind me.
Yeah. It was an office up yours in Scottsdale.
Wasn't it Scottsdale and Shea?
Scottsdale and Shea. And
was that the old
we were sitting in your conference room, and we knew each other, and I walked in, I was talking to you, and just it was a little tough meeting. Tougher than I thought.
What were you expecting?
I don't know. I was expecting that. I was killing it then. And I was like, okay, I got this thing locked in. And I'm like, damn, Greg Gale's asking me some good questions.
That was so long. It just seems weird because you think 14, so I was only 4 years in the business, right? And I had just made the shift to wanting to do like more classes.
And you thinking, what was it 14? 14 years ago. What was the date?
Yeah, right?
2009, 2010?
Yeah.
Fun time for us.
That was a rough time.
Yeah.
That was actually, and I had just gone on my own in end of 08, like 09 was me going on my own. But when I got with my coaching company, they were like, hey, you got to get in front of realtors. You got to do these classes. And that's when I realized, like, well, I need a partner to help me with this. And that's what we've been really good at over the years is partnering up with almost merging databases, so to speak. Like, hey, you market the class, I'll market the class. We'll just get a bunch of people in there and then however we can serve them. But
you said the key word there, partner, when you do classes. Because I get it all the time, like my team, I felt bad for them. Hey, I know you have contacts. I know you have that database. I need to get in front of agents. And then you get to that class and 98% of the people are...
all theirs.
All ours.
Yeah, yours.
Yes.
Your reps.
Yeah. And they just show up.
It's a one-way street.
One-way street.
Mm-hmm. We just had that conversation over text over the weekend.
Yep. And that's not a partnership. That's not a partnership. It's not how it works.
Yeah. So going back, though, let's unwind. How did you even get into title?
Interesting story. My uncle, rest his soul, he was out here forever. He was a land developer, real estate attorney, and he always wanted me to come out here. And I had a cigar bar cafe back east, and it was stressful. Not that old adage.
You owned it?
Huh?
You own the cigar bar cafe?
Me and my cousin.
Really?
And not that old adage, don't do business with, like, relatives.
Yeah.
So it was just a lot of stressful work, and I was burned out. And I needed a change. I mean, partner with them was great. I just was really stressed out in the hours, and it was just growing on me. Mm-hmm. And it wasn't what I really wanted to do. So then my uncle always wanted me to come out here, so I had the opportunity to come out here. So I said, what the hell, I'll come out here. And I was going to work commercial real estate with him.
Wow.
One of his best friends at the time was sales manager at one of the F&F companies. And we met, and he interviewed me like my second day out here and offered me a job.
And what year was that?
That had to be 2000, 1999.
Cool.
If I get, 2000, 1999 on that. I knew nothing.
Yeah.
I'll never forget.
So you just took a chance because someone...
I took a chance because they had bets back east. Because if you know Italian families back east, we all live within a mile and a half of each other. And nobody leaves the Philadelphia area. They just stay there.
And if they do, they come back.
And they come back. So there was over and unders, I'll be back in 6 months. And that was the adage. If I don't like it, I'll just come back. And I came out here and had that opportunity. And my uncle's like, take it. He's like, it's a great company. He's like, you're not going to make money with me for the first year. And he's like, and I'm not going to support you.
And then 24 years later.
24 years later, yeah. It's
wow.
I knew nothing about the business.
So how'd the evolution happen? So did you start right up like, hey, I'm a sales rep and I'm going to go out?
No, I actually started in customer service because they were hiring me as a sales rep. They didn't have the opening at the time, and they wanted me to learn more. And hindsight being 2020, when I was a sales rep in the field, it was one of the best things that happened to me because I worked in the market research department. So I understood all that research when it came to farming data. You know, I'm a big data guy now.
Yeah.
I think it started from that. So I knew all the data and I knew everything. And I was dealing with a pretty rough sales team too, doing that. Everything was a rush.
It's always a rush.
Yeah.
Nothing changes.
And then, one thing led to another. And it's funny you say that story because I should have learned the business my first week, how the title business works though, like how ruthless it can be. My first week at the job, not the sales manager hired me, but the president of the company got walked out the first week I was at the job. You could see him through the window. And as they're walking him out, they're walking a new guy in.
Wow.
It's my first week of the job. First week. And I'm sitting there in my window just working, just like, what the hell's going on?
Dang. Yeah, you get to learn right. So then, so I like that. Learning the back end before you get out in sales. It helps you appreciate them more, but also lets you sell better because you know that you really know the product.
I knew the product. I knew, like, not getting the details about the product, but I knew out there I had advantage over everybody when I'm meeting with someone one-on-one because I knew the ins and outs of pulling the data and pulling the product. And things were way different back then. We don't have stuff that we have now that we had back then.
True.
That was like the big stuff back then.
Yeah. But it was still, that was the thing you were selling. Like, it was all the, hey, this is what we have to offer, but you actually knew it in and out.
In and out, yep.
So what was the evolution from there? Got into the sales.
Got into sales. I'll never forget. The question was, do you know where Tempe, Arizona is? I'm like, nope. And they're like, here's a map. Go kill it. You go to the
So Tempe was your first territory.
Tempe and East Valley, yeah. And it was like, go to the East Valley Sephora. They have a roster of agents out there and just go get them. That was my training.
Wow. No, like, hey, here's a script. Here's what you should say.
Nope. And I'll be honest with you, I sucked the first 6 months. I couldn't believe how much rejection I was getting.
How'd you overcome it? How'd you fit? What happened after the 6 months?
I actually opened up and went to a couple top people in the business, on the team and in the business that I met, and just sat with them.
Smart.
And they coached me through it, and it just clicked after that 6 months.
So you seeked out someone doing it better than you.
Yep. And I actually went through with the questions, but what I didn't realize at the time, and I tell people this now, is even though I sucked those first 6 months, the work I put in that 6 months paid off.
Right.
When everything clicked.
Yeah.
And it just went skyrocketed.
Nice.
And I just started moving up the ladder, like, okay, crushing it, like doing really good. And
moving up like the scoreboard. Like
moving up the scoreboard, yeah.
Then what happened? So you get into sales, because obviously I know your evolution to today, but what was the next step for you?
I went into sales and then skyrocketed in our company, went to leadership, crushed it there. I even got like second in the whole Western region in sales.
Wow.
And I was skyrocketing in the company. And then certain changes happened I didn't like, and I call it my it was one of the best things that happened to me, worst things that happened to me. I left for another opportunity because I thought at the time I was ready to be a manager, and I wasn't. I was that guy, I'm killing it, I need to be a manager. That old adage, you can be really good at sales but not good at management.
Yeah.
I thought I could do it, and I went into be management, and it wasn't I was that bad, but it was the company I went to were doing really good at the time, and we crushed it when I was there. But then the market kind of took a slide. That's when everything hit in 2007. So they were shutting down. And I'll never forget, I give the guy credit who owned the company because he heard that other people were coming after me, and he like knew everything. And he goes to me, pulls me in the office, goes, and he was kind of ruthless. Like if he heard that, he would have just got rid of me right away. He goes, listen, I really like you. I respect you. You've been loyal. I hear you're talking to other people. He goes, nobody knows this now, but I'm going to be shutting this thing down. So if you have an opportunity, I want you to take it.
Wow.
Yeah, it's kind of cool.
Solid.
It was solid.
That was a solid.
It was a solid.
Yeah.
Because I was going to stay loyal. I turned everybody down. Mm-hmm. And then went to another company, and you know how you fail forward? Mm-hmm. I was at rock bottom, dude. The market was crashing, switching companies, went from going up to here to bottom of the list.
And did you go into management at the new company, or
no,
back
just
to
regular
sales?
sales.
Back to sales.
Back to sales, regular sales. Had to start kind of not over, but just whole new.
Over, yeah.
And it was a whole new beginning.
And so ran up sales there.
Ran up sales there, and then, ramped back up again.
That's where we met.
Mm-hmm. And then my partner Ryan Banneback and I became sales managers in around 2012, 13. It was a weird situation because there was an opening and they never tried having two people as sales managers. And they actually did it thinking we were going to fail. They gave it to us because they didn't want to piss off the other one.
Wow.
Yeah. True story.
So if we give it to Anthony, we're going to piss off Ryan. If we give it to Ryan, we're going to piss off Anthony.
And we don't want either one to leave or take their people. So we're just going to give it to both of them. If it fails, it's not our fault.
It's their fault.
And they didn't know our relationship. The two of us.
Yeah.
We were completely opposite people, but we just worked really good together.
That's why it worked.
Respected each other. He was the only one who would stand in front of me and tell me, like, hey, that's what, you know what I'm saying? And we just crushed it. We crushed it to the point, and I think I told you the story before, where they changed our pay plan for the first 5 years in a row.
Hey, we got to renegotiate.
We got to renegotiate this pay plan. And we just kept on beating it.
Wow.
And we took our numbers from like number 12, 13 resale market share up to number 2. And
Dang.
so we were both sales managers. And
Yeah. So what'd you learn from the management role you had in the past where that company was out, then you get into sales again and then ran up and then got into management again? What was the difference between those two?
I think I think I was a little bit more mature on the second time. The first time I really didn't know what I was doing. I was still actually working sales, not being management. Whereas the second time I really became more of a leader, not a salesperson or manager.
I like that. I mean, I've seen you evolve, and I think that you've moved from sales to management to leadership.
Yes.
Like sales is sales, management is more, I say like more managing to the metrics and the numbers, but then leadership is really having influence over your people. And I've seen that evolution since I've known you.
And the one thing that I think clicked it, and you're real big with this one, I started coaching in 2013.
Getting coached.
Getting coached. I think that took me to the coach I had definitely helped my progression to where I was
think
going.
there's two messages in there. One is when you're getting coached and you're a good student, people are more apt to follow you because you're being the student. Plus, you were getting all the information from those people to then disseminate to your people.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's a good way to look at it.
So now, current, right? So we've gone through that. Now you're at the new spot.
Yeah.
We got Navi.
Yep, we got Navi.
What's your role there?
What isn't my role?
Good question.
No, I love my role there because it's really growth. My role's growth. It's I look over this, if you do the little levels, Ryan's our president, and then I'm right. I always call it like the boss, the underboss.
The underboss.
The underboss.
Yeah.
That's how you can say the role, but it's that growth mode, man. I'm really growth recruiting, dealing with the major partners in town, dealing with the JVs, the sales teams over me. I'm over the sales team. I'm over the marketing team.
So your growth of everything, growth of the company.
Yes.
But even within that, it's growth of the people and the relationships, the partnerships.
And a lot's the eternal relationship too with everyone. Like we never had that at our old company with management. And it's really key to have the internal relationship with senior management and everyone on your staff.
Yeah, speak more to that because that is a big, it's a difference, but it's also something that you guys have made a main focus of the culture of your internal.
The main focus of that culture is they're family, man. I know it sounds weird, cliche to say that, but it really is. Like, I enjoy going in the office and seeing them and talking to them. And sometimes you talk about business, sometimes you talk about personal, but they just love that positive passion when you walk in that office, and they make me feel that way because you want to work so hard for them. But it's something we didn't, at our old company, never happened.
But you guys have made it a cognizant decision that's a main component.
It's a main component.
Standard.
It's a
for
standard,
your company.
Yeah, it is. Ryan and I are always out at the offices, and as we got busier and bigger, they didn't see us as much, and you had to let them know. It's like, okay, it's not like you're here in the beginning and you're going to see us again.
Right.
But it's kind of funny because you don't go in the office and they bust on you. Where you been? You don't like us anymore?
Uh-huh. So they notice.
Yeah, but it was really big in culture, and I think we're lucky enough to have really good people. Like I said,
it helps.
I love going to the offices. That's the thing. It's fun to go there. Mm-hmm. I mean, they're busy sometimes and they're stressed, but they love seeing us. It's just a different, yeah. And we're really transparent when we talk to them.
Transparent about
just what's going on with the business, what's going on with our company, what's going on with numbers.
Do you guys do that as a platform? Like, hey, we're having a State of the Union, or hey, every Friday we do a thing, or how do you have that?
When we see them, we'll at the end of every month we do an end of month celebration.
Okay.
Like we'll do a champagne toast at the end of the month at every office, and right there we'll give them just all about our numbers from the month, where we're going, profit, what's happening with market share and all that stuff. It's funny how they're more adamant to hear about market share than we are. And Ryan and I are psycho when it comes to it.
So they're bought into the vision.
They bought into the vision and the growth.
Yeah. Now
it's we're not the management that sits back at our desk.
Right. You guys are in the field.
We're in the field.
Yeah.
And they love seeing that. They know that we're really working for them because they mean a lot to us. If they don't succeed, it's 1,000% our fault.
Right.
that's the way I look at it.
Well, you guys are bringing it in,
Yeah.
right? But they also, it's that sales and ops mentality of they work together. They're not competitive, right? It's more, hey, I'll bring it in, but you've got to service the client because that's how we keep them going. So, and they do such a great job. You're happy to go get more to bring it in to service them.
And they do such a great job. I mean, we are when we joke around about how much our growth is, and people congratulate Ryan and I, and we say thank you, but it has nothing to do with us. We are lucky to have. We are literally lucky to have the people around us that we have, because without them, we would be nothing.
Dude, you could go make all the partnerships and JVs in the world, and if no one's there to service them, they'll all just go right out. And like martial arts teachers, you said that you got to lock the back door. You got to provide them a great service. You got to take care of them. You got to get them in shape. You got to have them with their goals. Like whatever it is you're doing, you've got to do that to keep the client.
Yep.
And you can't do that. You need the team to help you do that.
1,000%.
Yeah. Well, I just had 2 deals going with you at the same time, and the communication is just insane. And your tech. Right, I called you and I said, "Hey, man, I just transferred money into your account," and I said, "Dude, that was so easy." And I don't know if you ever get that feedback from the client, right? You probably maybe hear it from the reps.
9 out of 10 calls, if I get them, it's not as much feedback like that. I mean, I get a lot of it because they're so good, but that one was great. And
it's like, well, it's just stuff that you might not know, but to know that the ease, like for me, it's removing friction for the client. So me being like, we've worked together for so long and I've sent so many people and we're a client on the other side, right? Like, hey, can you give me the prelim title? Here's the docs, right? But to be the client that's like, hey, send me your earnest money. Here's your settlement statement. To see the level of communication, but then, like I said, the tech where I can be like, hey, I need to, send the money. And rather like when I called to let them know I was doing that, they're like, oh no, save yourself a step.
Yep.
You can do this. And I'm literally in my chair and within
2 minutes.
It might have been 2.5.
You know how great that is when I get to pass that word back to them about how you like enjoyed, like as many deals have you done that you're complimenting how great the transaction was. Mm-hmm. It's
awesome.
Speaking of tech, wait to see what we have coming in the next month or two.
Oh,
beta testing it right now.
Oh, a little surprise drop there.
Surprise, game changer.
Ooh, I can't wait.
Yeah.
So let's talk about. Stay on one more question about culture. I've seen you do this. Is this a thing that just comes up, or who's in charge of it? That I've seen the events, like you did the pickleball thing with your team, where I kept seeing you run into that wall every once in a while. That was a great one. But is there someone in charge of that? Who runs that? Is that a thing like, hey, we're going to do an event every quarter, or what's that?
When we have our meetings and our goals, we want to do an event. Like we do have that plan. Like it's the end of the year, Christmas party and do an event. Like last month, all sales team got together, got electric bikes, drove around. Just
fun.
Yeah, it was that Friday 2 weeks ago though, when it was like a monsoon storm. It was still fun though. It's part of the culture thing. Yeah, we have plans when we want to put things together. Luckily, we have someone on staff or someone who helps us doing it, like sales. Kim, Madison, Chris's assistant, is just a rock star putting everything together. Chris and Madison putting it together. Beth, who's Ryan's assistant, puts together our Christmas party, and
you always have to have an execution of that. But I just want to make sure that's part of the vision of, hey, this is part of our culture.
So the moral of that story is I have nothing to do when it comes to planning that stuff. I'll come up with the idea. You don't want me putting it together.
Yeah.
You know me with my squirrel.
Right. Well, that's what salespeople are.
Yeah.
They need a non-squirrel person that executes everything.
Yep.
Yeah. What's next for the company? What's the net in 5 years from now? What are we going to see from Navi?
Expansion. I mean, we have a 10-year plan where we want to be at. We have
Is that expansion in Arizona? Or are we going into other states?
Going to other states.
Okay.
We're looking at expansion at the end of this year, if not the beginning of next year, in 1 or 2 other states. It has to be the right move. Mm-hmm. Our focus is here in Arizona.
What makes it the right move?
Partnerships. We don't just want to pop in a state just to pop in a state.
Yeah.
You have to go. There's a lot of planning in the background when you.
Yeah, that's what I'm asking. So is there?
Because there's certain people like you've seen it, Greg. Like Arizona is a great market. Let's go pop in Arizona. We don't know anybody. Nobody knows us. But guess what? We're just going to go there because it's a great market. Like that model doesn't work.
Right.
And we know that. It takes the right spot, the right partners. You got to look at the finances. But I mean, we're already working on some partnerships now, so we already have that planned. We could have went in a few other states last year, We didn't do it because the partnerships that we were planning, we didn't see the benefit to us to go move. Plus, we want the focus on here because we know where the market was doing.
Yeah.
I mean, we
True.
kind of knew, but we,
Yeah.
you know, you can't just expand. You have to plan. It has to be the right move.
It's got to be strategic.
Yeah, but we know we need to be in 2 or 3 other states.
Are there, I know it's not firm because it is about the partnerships, but is there certain states that you're like, man, we'd really like to be there if
Yes.
the right partnership came?
Yep.
So what are the states you want to be in?
Dallas and Florida are 2 states we want to go into.
Nice. Good
Yeah.
markets.
Colorado's another one.
Yeah. Great
Vegas, we Vegas because it's kind of similar market, but Vegas is a tough market.
That's different.
It's a different market.
Yeah. Yeah, we've had relationships there. I mean, we have a place there, but it's just different. There are different partnerships there.
Because we do have people reaching out to us when you come to the state. We want to talk. So it's one of those things where
That's flattering.
it is flattering. We've luckily through the years made a lot of connections, both in whether it's a real estate partner or other title partners or lender partners, and but it has to be a smart move. You don't want to just like I use the pro sports as an example. They just expand to expand.
Yeah.
We don't want to be that way.
Right. Well, and also they have the money to just do it and blow it where we don't. And I'd rather be strategic with my money.
Yeah, and it's not cheap to expand.
No.
Yeah.
No.
And
Yeah.
and when we do expand, I'm looking forward to it because it'll be another challenge for me. So,
What are you looking forward to in that challenge?
just going into somewhere else and bringing our culture model in there, something different. Because I feel we do have something different than everybody else has to offer, and just bringing that into another state and watching that grow.
Yeah, I agree. I think the challenge there too, it's like you really have to have the right who there because you can't, like right now, hey, let's go do the champagne toast for the closings at all the offices. Well, you can do that. Hey, let's make sure we hit every office every week and we're seeing everybody and giving a couple minutes to each person and saying hi and how you doing and checking in on their kids, and you can do that. Once you go to other states, it's like quarterly visits, semi-annual visits, and how big it gets, it could be annual visits.
Yeah,
So I got to have the right head person, guy or girl, that has that same culture, vision, faced, right? That
You gotta so you implant me and Ryan in another state, right?
yeah. How do I duplicate myself, right? Which could be someone that you're growing here. That's like, hey, I'll take that opportunity.
Which we might be doing.
Okay. Another teaser.
Another teaser. Yeah.
Dang. How big is it going to get here? Like, are you going to go rather than saying other states? Let's go here. Is there a plan here for expansion? Is it? Do you need more offices, or is it just more people to get the market share?
I know we need more offices. I mean,
Because geographically, you need to be in certain areas.
geographically we need to be in certain areas, and we have a couple of recruits we're working on now that if they come to fruition, we're definitely going to need other locations.
Again, it's like a who
Yeah.
for that area,
Yeah,
right?
it's like
What areas are you looking in?
Right now, our probably number one area is Chandler.
Okay.
We need to go in the East Valley, that Chandler, South Tempe area.
Yep.
Yeah,
Yep.
that's probably our number one area. We just opened our corporate office in Scottsdale, which
That
was
would
nice.
be really nice.
It was a building we bought out there, and
That's
it
impressive.
turned out really well. That office is our corporate office on one side, and we have a branch on the other side, and that branch is just crushing it since we moved in that new office. They
Nice.
felt like the faucet was turned on when we moved in a new office.
Yes.
And it's a great branch too.
Well, that goes to tell you too the culture, right? You just brought everybody together again.
Yeah.
And also in a nice new environment.
It's funny you said that because when we were going to our corporate office, for example, Chris and Madison, our sales managers, just a team, Ryan and I were together every day. We had a corporate office. And they did not have that because we were expanding, and one was an office in East Valley, one was West Valley. So they talked every day, but they weren't together every day. Does that make sense?
Oh, yeah.
Where we were together every day.
Right.
And looking at the advantage that we had when we were sales managers, just to run things back and forth with each other, just to talk, or when we see each other be there. And you can just see the difference in the two of them now just since we've opened that office.
So they're both in the new office.
They're both in a new
Wow,
office. But you
that's
can
a
just
game
see
changer.
that difference.
Yeah.
And then because you have everybody in there. You have me, you have Ryan, you have Lance, you have Taylor. Like you just have these
It's a dream team.
But you're together. You're together in one spot.
Yes.
Not that we're always there at the same time, but what a difference it makes to have that corporate office.
Yeah. Well, to be able to walk down the hall and be like, "Oh, hey, Lance, I had this quick idea," or Lance has something, or whatever. You're just right there to talk about it.
And like for those who don't know, like even like Lance and Taylor, like just to pick those two minds on certain things we have no idea about. You and I have been in business, but just the difference on the two of them, and to have them right there instead of just a phone call.
Yes. It's so different.
So different.
Because then they can be like right there at their computer and be like, "Here, let me show you that real quick," and they just get in there and do it.
And you were talking about expansion too. The other piece of that expansion is we want to purchase buildings, not lease. So that's part of where we go, what we can do.
That's the McDonald's concept.
Yeah.
It's about the real estate.
Yeah, it is about the real estate.
Yeah.
So.
Was that the first building you guys bought?
Yeah.
Dude, that's awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was interesting.
What was interesting?
Just everything that goes involved with it when you got the place and fix it up, and so
deal with all the TIs.
TIs, yeah. Luckily, we had someone do that stuff, but
yeah,
just seeing the email. You know me, the emails come across and you see like 6 paragraphs. I'm lucky to read the first 2 sentences.
Right.
And then did you read what we need to do?
Nope.
Cliff notes?
Didn't get there. Can you AI transcribe that for me?
AI transcribe, yeah.
Well, and with that too, like I think about like the TIs and everything. It's like anything construction. It's everything takes longer and costs more. And when it's yours and not the building I'm leasing, and it's on the tenant, it just means a lot more to you.
100%. Yeah. We had a budget we wanted to do, and the girl who managed the office, we told her what the budget was from the branch, and we were joking around with her because she's really good. Not that she wasn't busy enough. She went like $2,000-3,000 over budget. So we're like, you owe us $2,000. What are you gonna do? Pay up.
It's coming out of your check.
But if you were to see like the way that she came so close to budget and the way it turned out. I was
gonna say to be a couple grand over for that project.
Because some people, you give them that budget, they're going, they're going double over the budget.
Yeah. And she was
so good because she cared that much, knowing but she wanted to look the way she wanted to. Mm-hmm. And she killed it.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
That's amazing. Yeah. All right, let's go with coaching. So you've been coaching for a long time. You saw the value in that. How do you manage that with, you have the personal consumption, but then you deliver it out there? How are you doing with that with the team?
It's a good question. Because I'm not as involved with the sales team as I was, because different roles. Still involved majorly. I deliver most of the info to Chris and Mazin, the sales managers, and just let them deliver it. Yeah. Sometimes.
So is this weekly, daily, monthly? How often do you meet with them?
It depends what comes in. Like sometimes you get, how coaching is. Sometimes coaching's not all about the data and information. It's just about structuring you yourself, and that stuff don't need to really share that much. But when I get some good information from the coaching or something going on, like I'm not, we all know what's going on now, the NAR data and things like that one, sharing that stuff.
Yep.
Whether it's something for you as a buyer's agent that you really need to do, or hey, here's what's working for someone else from the national coaching or through the text thread or referral, send that to the team. They're definitely getting stuff at least 2-3 times a month that nobody else has.
Wow.
Now, hopefully they're sharing it. Like I give you an example. Like there was like a month or 2 ago, because I get coached, Tom Ferry coaching. He was coming out with something, and I got it like 2 days before he made it public, and I sent it to the team, like something like that,
right?
Before it even went public.
Yep.
Just from that relationship and the people we know and being there, and it was really good. And so they had it 2 days before it went out. And then when he made the announcement, everyone was going nuts on it. And I to the sales team was like, "Do you see that value? Like you had this before everyone else, but it's what you do with it." So,
exactly. Yeah. Well, go with that. So you do a ton on social. What I really like about your content is that it's you. Right. So whether it's you and I talking here, or on the phone, or I see you making a post, it's always you. There's no fake you, right? And I'm sure people like are also like, "Oh, dude, that's too much."
It's funny you said that because we just recruited someone from another branch, former branch, and it was so funny how she said it. She goes, "They hated you every time they watched your videos." Think about that sentence. Like they cringed every video you posted. They watched. Think about that.
Yeah.
Then why are you watching?
Right.
Can make you
cringeworthy.
If I make you cringe, then why are you watching?
Because I just want to hear what he's got to say.
See, but that was it was kind of it was. I was like, thank you.
Yeah. But there's been an evolution here because, and I don't even know when it was because it's just, to me, it's just kind of routine now. Maybe it was a year, maybe it was 2 years ago, but you've made a conscious effort to be more on social. Was that a conscious thing? Was that something the coach told you to do? You just took action?
It was coaching back in March 2020 when COVID happened.
Wow.
I can tell you the exact time when it happened.
Dang. Okay. So
If you go look back at my past posts and all that stuff, you probably didn't see one video of, or a few of them maybe I did before 2020.
And so coach said?
It's, we don't know what's going to happen now. Everything's shut down. How are you going to get in front of people? What value you going to give them? How can they see you as you are as still a value point? Because like you, I'm really good I like being in front of people, face to face. I'm horrible on the phone. I just don't like talking on the phone. So that was kind of the vision there of social media. It's if you're not on there, who's going to see you during this period of COVID?
Right.
And I passed that down to the team at the time when I was in sales manager that they had to start doing it. Like I see people now who was on our team on social, and it was all because of that stuff.
Yeah.
And but that's exactly when it happened. And it was just don't post just to post. You gotta have some value behind it. Mm-hmm. Plus, don't make it all business.
Right. Yeah, I like that. So how much do you have a combination of, personal versus business, like half and half or third? And
it's probably 70-30 business. But I have to throw my personal stuff in.
It's a little more personal in football season, though. Yeah, I will tell you that. Okay. There's a little more personal when it gets to
If you notice, I wasn't too active on social the last 2 months of the football season.
That's right.
Yeah. when it came to the football season.
We saw that coming.
Yeah, we saw that coming.
Yeah. All right. So what is it? So now, because you were in my content mastermind. Thanks for all your participation. Where are you getting your content from? So the agents know where to be getting it.
There's
or not even content. It could just be the information you're getting to then put out your content.
There's a few really good people I follow. It's what's that old saying? You rip off and repeat, and then to put it in your own way to make it value.
Yep.
So there's some really good people out there. You're talking about getting back in 2020, partnering with Keeping Current Matters back then in March of 2020, and the relationship I built up with them since then has really, really helped my business and our team, because I knew data, but I didn't know it as well till then.
Right.
Because I really started understanding it a lot more. And then, having, Sarah Perkins on our staff too, Sarah Perkins, digging in that one. But Keeping Current Matters when it comes to data. When it comes to different things about like when to post, what to post, all that stuff, that I told you those two companies, the Coffee and Contracts, and then Now Bam on social media.
Yep.
Those guys you got to sit there and study it. Like sometimes you can't just watch it once. You got to watch it twice.
Well, and the big point is you don't have to come up with it yourself.
No, and that's exactly.
So a lot of people think like I got to come up with my own content. Like no one came up with their own content. Like someone came up with it, but it just gets viral from there because people saw something and then they saw that person's post and they just keep rewording it themselves to put it out there.
We're doing it now. There's a couple people on our team that want to get out there and do social, but they said the same thing. What content? I go, I'll give you the content.
Yeah.
I'll give you just put it in your own way.
Right.
You don't do it like I do it.
No,
just like you. Like I can't do videos like you do.
Yeah, and I can't do yours.
Yeah.
Be you.
I like, and good question for this one. I was going to see this one because you hear two different things about videos on social. I like being natural just from my iPhone. You have your studio. Make sense?
Yeah.
I'm not a studio guy. Mm-hmm. If I did one in a studio, I think I wouldn't get as much followers or likes.
Yeah. I agree. I think that the studio was a conscious decision to say, hey, if I put a place that I can bring other people in like you, like agents to do video, it'll make it easier for them. Yeah. Hey, here's a teleprompter. Hey, let's just do a question and answer interview style to make it easy for you to get started. But ultimately, I think people relate more to the phone, the background, the Phillies poster, the players, right? Is something moving in the background, the psychology of it, right? Driving in the car. That's more relatable.
Yeah, and I love your content, the way you do it. It's just, like you said, it's relatable. Like that's what I'm saying. Like you're two different people, and you have to understand that when you do social.
Right.
And if all else fails, post a picture of your dog.
There you go. You'll get more.
You'll get
more.
more.
Like,
Just
Stella,
post a picture of your dog
eating the
a
bone
steak 44
from
bone.
Steak 44.
Steak 44 bone. You'll get 1,000 comments. Spoiled dog.
Your next post just needs to be over business after that.
So, like, speaking of steak 44, I mean, it's my 5-year wedding anniversary today.
Congratulations.
And my wife had this really nice day planned for me, and I said, "Sorry, hon, I'm got to spend a day with Greg."
Oh man, that makes
So
me
that
feel
shows you
even
how
more
cl-
special.
Yeah.
Thanks, man.
But we are going to steak 44 tonight. It was
course.
our first date, and so my dog Stella's happy because she knows she's getting a bone tonight. When we
Yeah,
come back,
she knows.
She's already salivating.
How did you originally get hooked up to go to Steak 44? Because it is like a staple spot for you.
I had a friend. Well, not. It's interesting how things work. Like, not real friends with him anymore.
Mm-hmm.
Whose buddy there was a general manager, so he took me in there.
Was it during like the grand opening, or it had been open for a while and you'd never
probably
tried it?
It was probably open about a year. I didn't even know about it.
Okay.
And he took me in there, and I fell in love with the place. Not only personally, but you know yourself, our minds are always thinking. So I thought about business in there, in the atmosphere they had, and the way we could do it. So we started doing mastermind dinners, and that just started taking off.
Yes. No, God, we've been doing the mastermind dinners for a long time.
Yeah, and people don't. When you do a mastermind dinner, they're interesting because they're not. Everyone thinks you're doing a dinner and it's so easy. They're not as easy as people think they are. You know that.
I agree.
Because it's a dinner, you have to have the right people there in the right atmosphere.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, well, and if you did get the right people in there, the right conversations just happen. That was Kevin Kaufman taught me that. He goes, get into bigger rooms, but have the right people in those rooms and the right conversations will happen. And we've had that because we've also had rooms where we didn't have the right people and it was like extracting the information from them, right? Like you got to prompt them more versus you got the right people in there and we leave 3 hours later and you're like, wow, dude, that was the best thing ever.
Yep.
And we didn't really contribute a ton of stuff or have any agenda. It was someone said one thing and then it just goes off from there.
And it's all natural too.
Yeah.
If you're sitting at that dinner and you're talking 1,000% business the whole time, that mastermind's going to fail.
Right. I agree.
And you got to strategically plant yourself where you're sitting.
Yeah. It is a plan.
Yeah, there's a plan.
There's a plan.
We sit in the same spot every time we do a mastermind there. Same spot.
That's awesome.
When we bring speakers in from out of town, we'll do a mastermind dinner with that speaker in a small group. We're at Steak 44.
Steak 44.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, it's also about the environment,
It's
right?
about
That
the
when you put
environment.
people, it's the same as you have your great office in Scottsdale. It's an environment that your people end up thriving in. You have the nice restaurant at Steak 44, which again, that also goes into the experience. If you took them to somewhere else that was less than, it still wouldn't be the same experience. Like, even subconsciously, people walk in there and they're like, wow, this is a nice place. And then when you sit down, this is very professional and the food's really good and the service it's an experience. It says what your level of service within Navi is. It's an experience.
It's experience. And like you just said that, knowing the right people in there makes the experience better.
Yes.
Because they know you're in there to me, you could have the best meal ever. If the service isn't good, it's done.
It's kind of both.
Because when people ask about restaurants and you go out and everyone argues, and I go, not only is it my favorite, but the service level there is just the way we get treated there. It's interesting because when we first did, I used to love talk about marketing and thinking we used to have people texting us during the dinner or afterwards. How can I get invited to that? Well, all right. Well, let's meet next week and talk about it.
There you go. Yes. Our power partners get invited to this.
There you go.
Would you like to be a power partner?
Would you like to be a part of that?
Yeah. But a statement there too, though, is because you're loyal with them, then you get that recognition there. They take great care of you.
Yeah.
And that goes a long way as you're working with your power partners through those dinners.
And it's not only personal, but business. I'll never forget, like you say, like you're thankful you have that good partnership. When Super Bowl was here, and they weren't even taking reservations. And it's my daughter's favorite restaurant. And it was her boyfriend's birthday, and that's where they wanted to go. And they got me in there that Friday night.
Wow.
For a 7:00 dinner for 8 of us.
Wow.
And we had a prime spot right in the bar area. And it was like just little things like that.
Yeah.
Like, why would I not want to go back there the way they treat you?
Look,
Because it was my daughter. Makes sense? It wasn't me.
Yeah,
It was
right.
about her. Like, if she would have came out here not gone there, she still would have fun. But,
Yeah.
Dad, I love it there.
Yes,
Yeah.
and that's the experience.
Yeah.
I tell you, those are the little things that, you think of it from like yes, that's their service, right? Like you're going there, you're paying their money. But look, they also understand that the people that you're bringing in there,
I'll come back.
they're coming back, and that they can come back, right? You're bringing people in that have the wherewithal to come there without you to go and use their services and maybe do things like that as well.
When you make those Valentine pre-reservations, because the guy forgets.
Yes, yes. And you've done that for years now.
Yeah.
That's awesome. That's such
Yeah.
a great marketing strategy. Oh, dude. Well, this has been fun, bro. I appreciate you coming
That's
in.
been fun, dude. I appreciate you, man. It's you've been a really good not only partner but friend. Like we know this business, and some people get mad at me for saying this one. There's loyalty out there, but there's not a lot of true loyalty. Make sense?
Yeah.
And you and I have had those discussions.
We've both
But
experienced
we've always been friends and partners and mind things off each other. Like I've called you for advice. Like I kind of feel bad sometimes because you're like a really good coach, and you work for your money, and I get to get you as a coach for free. So I kind of enjoy that. So
That's why we're friends.
that's why we're friends.
Yeah.
I appreciate you, man.
Yeah. Thanks, brother.